I am Sister Arlene Greenwich. So STEPS is really an acronym that is constructed around the chief principles, the core principles. So it's S, strengths-based. It is T, trauma loss sensitive. It is E, understanding the person in environment. Okay, so it's ecological systems. P, permanency is the ultimate goal. E is evidence-based. So it's all about, oh gosh, if you know I love children, and my spirit just tell me to, right? It's evidence-based. It's rights-based as well, okay? So it's child's rights-based. And then the last S stands for spirituality. I'm a Dominican sister, and we see spirituality. Spirituality is how we assign meaning to our lives, okay? How we engage people and the environment, our concept of ourselves in relationship to the transcendent. That's spirituality. It's not religion, it's spirituality. And therefore we say that our targets need to be psychological, social, medical. So it's biopsychosocial, but it's also spiritual. So the last S in the STEPS model is biopsychosocial, spiritual targets. So that's the STEPS model. The STEPS model really is, in one way it's homegrown, on the other hand it's nothing new really. It's a model of care that has come out of a process of transformation, organizational transformation, that we engaged on here at our home, children's home, starting in 2008. It didn't start out as, let's put together another model of care. It evolved. And it started really by us identifying shifts that were taking place in our environment. We were aware that things were going wrong. We were working with children and we weren't happy with the outcome for a significant number of them. And so, and there was a lot of discontent among staff. And so we figured, well, the board actually decided that we're going to engage in this transformation process. We identified shifts that were taking place within the environment, right, in the internal care environment. So we were receiving more and more children whose presenting stories included trauma, sometimes multiple trauma. We were also, that was a change that we were observing. And we were observing, in the external environment, there were also things, external push factors. So for example, there's a whole talk about children as being the subjects of rights. So that as people in our field, residential child care, it wasn't about doing things for and to the child, but how could we engage children in a process and engage them in a way that was age appropriate, okay? So there was a whole child rights thing. Now, of course, these are very emotional kinds of issues there. We were talking about corporal punishment. No more was it allowed for us to use corporal punishment. Wow, people went crazy, right? So all of that was happening. And so we were identifying the shifts. A major shift was understanding one's role as a caregiver, not operating out of a place of power and control. I am the adult, I say you do, but rather understanding it, caregiving as being a relationship that was in this particular context, trauma loss sensitive. So all these shifts were taking place. The family, we were now hearing children have a right to family. The whole thing of good practice, right? That really children need permanency. That word was a word that we were now learning, permanency. And so all of this was happening. And out of that process, having identified the shifts, we started talking about the key principles and weaving those key principles together. The STEPS model was born. And so in 2014, we got the permission from the government to start implementing, and here we are.